Mike says, hello, for a local service website, do you think it's a good idea to use and embed the original city logo and also link to the city website or Wikipedia city page? I can see power in it, but I don't think it's a good idea. Thanks. Well, Mike, that's what was pretty much standard operating procedure back in like 2012. um, and for a long time, that was just traditional, what do they call conventional wisdom when it came to, conventional wisdom is oftentimes not very smart. It's just what people think is right. And conventional wisdom for the longest time was that you would link to always a .gov or a .wikipedia page, or excuse me, a Wikipedia page or a .gov site, or that especially if you're doing local, to that corresponding Wikipedia page or the local government website or something like that, and that was supposed to add relevancy, which isn't true. That hasn't been true for many years, because Google doesn't care about you linking to a Wikipedia page about a particular city unless it's relevant to the content on that page. And even though you might be optimized, for like a plumber in a particular city, just linking to that Wikipedia page arbitrarily with the keyword or without the keyword, whatever, just linking to that page really doesn't do much, right? It's not, the algorithm is much smarter than that. Now, if you are citing something about that city, like some facts about the city or something that makes it relevant, and you want to cite the source where you gleaned that content from. So for example, if you are curating content from a Wikipedia page or a .gov site about that particular city, then you want to cite the source. Now that adds that's a proper way to link to it, and Google can clearly see the relationship from why you're linking to that. But again, years ago we used to, just about everybody used to do it. What I always recommend is outbound linking to relevant content that's relevant to the concept within the body of the content that you're linking to. Like, in other words, that why just link to the city page or to the Wikipedia page if the page is about plumbing services in a particular city? It doesn't really make sense just to link to the city website unless there's a reason for it. And so again, I've always gone back to, for years, since probably 2014 timeframe, I stopped doing that, stopped doing what was conventional wisdom and started linking to more relevant pages. So for example, linking to an article on bobvila.com or DIY, do it yourself network, or something like that, right? Some sort of, like, if it's a plumbing website, right? Linking to something that's more relevant to the content of the page. And then if you want to have some sort of local relevancy in there, why not embed the map or a my map or driving directions map from the store or the location of the business to that city or something like that. That to me makes a lot more sense. It's more relevant. And so that's the type of thing that I've always done. As far as embedding a city logo from another website, I don't recommend doing that, because if you don't have permission to use that, remember that logo is likely trademarked, or even if it's not trademarked, it's probably a copyright issue. Because I can tell you one thing you don't want to do when you curate content. And by the way, we have a training, a full training program called Content Kingpin, which will teach you all about curating and why it's so powerful, because it creates co-citation. It allows you to generate content much quicker. It's much more efficient. You don't have to learn. You don't have to be a content or subject matter expert in order to be able to generate content. You just have to know how to locate it and put it together in a logical fashion and then cite the sources properly. So I would recommend you look at that, because one of the things that I learned the hard way is you never want to curate images ever. Okay, unless they're what do they call Wiki Commons? They're I don't recommend ever curating images, because you can end up getting copyright infringement and be sued for that. And a lot of times, and it's happened to me. It's happened to me for almost 3 years in a row. It was 2 years in a row where I got hit with copyright, basically extortion letters, where they would say you've got to pay so much or we're taking you to court for copyright infringement, and you'd have to pay or else they would take your ass to court. And it sucks. So I learned a long time ago, never curate images. So I would really highly recommend not embedding a city logo, and don't just arbitrarily link to a city Wikipedia page or a city government website unless there's a specific reason for it. that you clearly identify in the content that you're, why you're linking to it, if that makes sense. You're much better off linking to something that's more relevant. You want to comment on that, Marco?
I agree, because it's activity, relevance, trust, and authority, right? You're much better off linking to something that has, that's updated regularly, an events page, what's going on in the city, landmarks, places to see, if there's parks, just anything. It's just going a little bit further in as far as the geolocation is. Yes, you're part of the city, so it stands to reason that you would think, I want to link to the Wikipedia city page for this. But you can go further and make it even more relevant. And in fact, if you can get that city schedule into a calendar of events, the way that we do in RYS Academy Reloaded, and load those up, and that's constantly changing, and that's constantly pushing all of that relevance, everything that's happening in that city. And mixed in with those calendar events are your events, what's happening with your business, whatever it is, whether you run a coupon, a special, whether you want to send them to the GMB, the map, just whatever it is. You mix in all of that with all of the other relevance, and it works a whole lot better than just simply linking to the city page for X reason, which there's really no reason.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's been such old tactics that, if it really worked well, Google would have killed it a long time ago, because it's been used forever. Like I said, it's just, that was like common knowledge, conventional wisdom. It's just what people did. And for the longest time, I would argue, why do you do that? Well, because that, it's adding relevancy. Yeah, we'll have you tested it, because if you test it, you'll find that it doesn't really do shit. You're much better off linking to relevant content. And I like curated content for that reason, because it clearly gives a reason to link out to something, and it can create co-citation, which is pretty powerful too. So.